So what is it that turns a regular conference into a real, honest-to-goodness industry epicenter? Today, we're going to break down Token 2049, using an article's big claims to really understand the anatomy of what it calls the most important event in crypto. Let's get into it.
So right off the bat, our source material makes this massive claim. It calls the event the definitive global gathering. I mean, that's not a small thing to say. So what's the proof? Let's dig into the evidence the article actually gives to back up such a huge statement.
Okay, so the first big point the article makes is all about its global reach. And the argument here is that it's not just about how many people show up, but it's really about who they are and where they're all coming from. It all kicks off with one key number.
And that number is more than 100 countries. Yeah, you heard that right. The article claims people are flying in from literally every corner of the planet. So this isn't some local meetup, right? It's a true global crossroads for the entire crypto world, pulling in perspectives from Asia, Europe, the Americas, everywhere. And then the article paints this picture of the whole ecosystem this creates. You've got crypto startups hungry for funding, literally rubbing shoulders with VCs who are hunting for that next billion-dollar idea. You've got journalists looking for their next big headline, while developers are there showing off their latest breakthroughs. This mix is what the source says creates this incredible environment where one single conversation can spark a partnership that completely changes the game. And the location, Singapore, is positioned as this super strategic bridge. According to the source, this is where the fast-growing Eastern markets, which it describes as these hotbeds for blockchain adoption, come to meet the established financial powerhouses of the West. This is where those two worlds are meant to collide, collaborate, and build something new. All right, so you've got this massive global crowd. But that's only half the story. The article's second point is all about who's actually on stage shaping the conversation. This is where, according to the source, the entire industry's agenda for the next year is basically set. And yeah, the people with the mics are a pretty big deal. We're not just talking about anyone here. We're talking about the CEOs and founders of the biggest crypto companies out there, the VCs who decide who gets funded, and even the regulators and policymakers who are writing the rulebook for the whole industry. The article says their talks cover everything from market trends to what the legal landscape's going to look like.
And hey, it's not just a one-way street where you're just sitting there and listening to speeches. The article really stresses the direct interaction. You've got formats like panels with live Q&As, you've got these cozy fireside chats, and even hands-on workshops. So attendees can actually engage with these industry leaders, ask them the hard questions, and get that knowledge straight from the source.
This brings us to the third massive point the article makes. This event is a launch pad. The whole idea is that if you've got something big to drop, something that's going to make waves in the industry, well, this is the stage you want to be on.
And these announcements, they come thick and fast. First up, new tokens. The source points out that all these projects in hot areas like DeFi and NFTs, they often time their biggest product reveals for the conference. Why? To get the most attention from investors and the media, all in one go.
Then you've got partnerships. The article says this is where you see these huge deals get announced, connecting scrappy crypto startups with tech giants and big-time institutional investors. It's where the small fish get to swim with the sharks.
And of course, it all comes down to the money. According to the source, the conference floor is where huge funding rounds get announced, from the earliest seed money all the way to massive Series B deals. It's a signal to the whole market about which projects are getting serious traction.
So you might be wondering, how does this all actually work? Well, the article lays out this really clear path. Startups get up on stage in these pitch sessions. VCs are sitting right there in the audience, scouting for the most promising ideas. And because everyone's in the same building, deals can start and move forward right there on the spot. It's a direct line from a great idea to getting a check.
All right, for our last piece here, we're looking to the future. The article argues that this event doesn't just show you what the industry looks like today, it's actively shaping where it's all going tomorrow by shining a spotlight on that next wave of innovation.
So what does that future look like, according to the source? Well, here's a little taste. We're talking about huge conversations around stuff like tokenization, that's turning real-world things like art or real estate into digital assets. There's also talk about how AI and crypto will merge, the next evolution of NFTs and gaming, and even how to make the whole blockchain world more sustainable. These are the trends they say will define the next cycle.
But you know, all these big ideas don't mean much if they just stay within those four walls, right? The article makes a point to highlight the massive media presence. You've got the specialized crypto news outlets like CoinDesk, but you also have mainstream heavy hitters like Bloomberg and Forbes. This is what ensures that every big announcement and every major trend gets broadcast to the entire world.
So let's tie this all together. The article's whole argument is that when you combine that global reach, that concentration of influential speakers, its power as a launchpad, and its role in setting future trends, you get the perfect recipe for an industry epicenter. It's where the network, the money, and the narrative all come together in one place.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty heavy thought. The source makes a really compelling case for this event's influence, for sure. But it also brings up a deeper question. When the script for an entire industry's future is basically being debated on one single stage, you have to ask who's really holding the pen, and what does that kind of concentrated power mean for everybody else?